Okay, second grade. So, yesterday we learned another way, another strategy for generating some new story ideas for our personal narratives. I wonder if you can remember what those two ways are. If you said memories with someone special, you are correct. Thinking of memories with somebody important to you is a great way to come up with a personal narrative story idea. The other way is, I wonder if you said feeling strong emotions. So if you felt a strong emotion one day, you were nervous, that would be a great personal narrative story to tell. Now, today we're going to talk about and learn about making our story ideas smaller. So we want to make it into a smaller moment or seed because when we make stories, big stories into a smaller time and a smaller idea, then it's going to be much more descriptive and maybe even a little more interesting to see it zoomed in on that moment. So, we're going to read two stories today, and we're going to see this kind of in action, taking a big idea and making it into a small seed. So, this passage is called My Big Day as a Flower Girl. I woke up and remembered that today was my big day. Well, it was really my aunt's big day because she was the one getting married. However, she asked me to be her flower girl. I had been practicing for a month for my walk down the aisle in her wedding. First, I had breakfast and kept thinking about how I would drop each flower as I walked. I got down from the table and I practiced again in my living room. I couldn't wait until the big moment. My mom got ready for the wedding and then she came in and helped me put on my pink dress. She placed the ring of flowers on my head. Are you ready to go to the church? My mom asked. Yes, let's go, I cried out. On the way to the church, my mom stopped for gas and I was starting to get mad. I wanted to be at the church right now. I didn't want to wait anymore. Finally, we pulled up to the church and my aunt came up to me and gave me a big hug. I sat with her and her bridesmaids in a room where they were getting ready. Okay, time to go, my aunt said, and she took my hand and squeezed it tight. She must be excited too, I thought. Suddenly, the doors to the church opened, and everyone watched as I grabbed my flowers from the basket and dropped them on the floor. I got all the way to the end of the path where the groom was. I felt so happy that I was able to finish the job without messing up. After the wedding, I had to smile for a lot of pictures. Then we went to a big party with food, music, and dancing. I had lots of fun on my aunt's wedding day. So, this is a great story, but it kind of takes this really big idea. It's like her whole day about the wedding, right? Now we're going to see what that looks like when we narrow it down to a little tiny seed walking down the aisle. So, this story was called My Big Day as a Flower Girl, and this one is just walking down the aisle. I was standing at the big brown doors of the church just waiting for my turn to walk down the aisle. As I peeked through the doors, I could see my soon to be uncle waiting at the end of the path. He was waiting for my aunt, the bride. Today was the day they were getting married. My aunt asked me to be a flower girl in her wedding, and I was taking my job very serious. I had my white basket with the pink petals filled to the top. Finally, my mom gave me the signal to start walking down the path. I was off with one foot in front of the other. I was focused on my steps, and every third step I dropped a handful of flower petals on the ground. I kept looking down at my feet, too afraid to look up. I didn't want to trip and fall. Then I looked up and I could see rows and rows of people sitting in the church with all their eyes on me. I froze for just a second. I didn't know that there would be so many people coming to the wedding. Focus, focus, I whispered to myself. I started to move my feet again, looking down the rest of the way. Suddenly, I was to the groom and I looked up at him. He smiled at me and gave me a wink. Phew, I was finally to the finish line. I turned around to face the big crowd of people and found my mom's face and smile looking at me. She gave me a big thumbs up, and I knew I did a great job. I was proud of myself for not messing up and getting all the way down the aisle. Next, all I had to do was wait for my aunt to walk down. I was filled with so much joy. So, wow, we got a lot of more detail in this section. It might actually be even smaller, there's less words, but we have so much detail. We know exactly what she was feeling. We know exactly what she was doing and thinking. We get a lot of detail about her soon to be uncle and her mom still. So we get all of those people, but now we just have much more detail and it's a more specific story. So, the way I like to think of this is narrowing down our topic to a seed story. So, a whole watermelon would be, in this case, our main character's the wedding. And then when we narrow it down to a slice, it's about her being a flower girl. And then when we narrow it all the way down to a seed, it's her walking down the aisle. So we're going to put this in an example of our own. So a big watermelon would be my birthday. Oops. Oops. And then a slice to my birthday would be like a birthday party. That's one specific part of your birthday. Birthday party. My birthday party. Oops. And then if we narrow this down even smaller, our seed might be opening presents, blowing out the candles. I think blowing out the candles is a good one. And now we have our seed story. So I would write a story about blowing out the candles. So we are going to talk about writing our seed story and what our idea is for our seed story today at our small groups. So make sure that you are starting to think about which idea you want to use and how you're going to narrow it down to a seed story. All right, friends, good luck.